Anxiety, insomnia, and your immune system may be more connected than you think. In a new study from Taiba University in Saudi Arabia, 60 healthy young women filled out surveys on anxiety and sleep, then gave blood so scientists could measure their natural killer or NK cells. NK cells are like the body's rapid response soldiers. They patrol the bloodstream, hunt down virus-infected and abnormal cells, and help prevent tumors from taking hold. But 3 out of 4 students in this study had anxiety symptoms, and more than half showed signs of insomnia. Those with anxiety had a lower percentage and number of circulating NK cells and both major subtypes, the cytotoxic CD16 plus CD56 dim cells and the cytokine-producing CD16 plus CD56 high cells. Among students with insomnia, higher anxiety scores meant even fewer NK cells in the blood. This hidden drop in NK cells could weaken immune defenses, raising the risk of infections, inflammation, and even cancer over time. Understanding how everyday stress and lost sleep shape these immune warriors is key to protecting long-term health, especially in young women. Natural killer cells sound intense, but they might be some of the most important bodyguards you have. These NK cells are cytotoxic lymphocytes of the innate immune system, the body's rapid response team that reacts without needing prior training. They provide constant immune surveillance, watching for anything that looks dangerous. NK cells patrol in 2 main ways. Some circulate in the bloodstream as peripheral NK cells, while others stay inside specific tissues and organs. Circulating NK cells include 2 key subgroups, CD16 plus CD56 dim cells, which are strongly cytotoxic, and CD16 plus CD56 high cells, which help regulate immunity by releasing cytokines. Their job is to target infected and abnormal cells early. They destroy virus-infected cells, eliminate malignant cancer cells, and attack invading microbes and damaged cells before problems spread. When NK cell levels drop, especially in people with anxiety and insomnia, immune performance can weaken. Low NK cell numbers are linked to higher risks of infectious diseases, cancers, inflammation, and other chronic conditions, making these hidden cells crucial for long-term health.
Right now, anxiety and insomnia are not rare bad days. They're turning into a global wave that is reshaping teen and young adult health. Across countries, these mental health conditions have climbed sharply and now hit adolescents and young adults especially hard. Girls and young women carry much of this burden. From puberty onward, they face a higher risk of both anxiety disorders and sleep problems compared with males their age. In Saudi Arabia, researchers studied 60 female university students aged 17 to 23 in Medina to see how common these issues really are. Using validated questionnaires for anxiety and insomnia, they found that about 53.3% of the students had sleep difficulties consistent with insomnia. An even larger 75% showed GAD-7 anxiety symptoms, with many falling into mild, moderate, or severe ranges, rather than staying completely symptom-free. These numbers reveal that young women are a vulnerable demographic where anxiety and insomnia are becoming the norm, not the exception, and that has serious implications for both mental health and immune system resilience.
To really understand how anxiety and insomnia affect the immune system, we first need to know how this study was built. Researchers carried out a cross-sectional study at Taiba University in Medina, Saudi Arabia, focusing on everyday students rather than hospital patients. They recruited 60 healthy female university students between 17 and 23 years old, all without chronic diseases like diabetes or asthma. Each student gave written consent and then completed several carefully validated questionnaires. Anxiety symptoms were measured using the GAD-7 tool, and sleep problems were assessed with the Sleep Condition Indicator, or SCI, to detect probable insomnia. At the same visit, blood samples were taken for complete blood count and for detailed analysis of natural killer cell numbers and subpopulations by flow cytometry. The team also collected rich socio-demographic data, including age, marital status, smoking and physical activity, caffeine intake, study specialty, and GPA. Putting these pieces together allowed them to link anxiety and insomnia symptoms with precise immune cell changes in a real-world group of young women.
Inside your blood, not all natural killer cells are the same, and those differences can decide how well you fight viruses and cancer. The first major subgroup, called CD16 plus CD56 dim cells, makes up the majority of peripheral NK cells, close to 90%. These cells show high CD16 and dim CD56 on their surface, and their primary job is direct cytotoxicity and antibody-dependent cell-mediated cytotoxicity, or ADCC, where they help destroy marked target cells. The second subgroup, CD16 plus CD56 high cells, is less common, around 10% of NK cells in the blood. They have high CD56 with low or absent CD16, and they specialize in immunoregulation by secreting cytokines such as interferon gamma and interleukin-10. Researchers identify these NK subsets using flow cytometry, a standard lab method that reads surface markers like CD3, CD16, and CD56. NK cells are defined as CD3 negative, CD16 negative, and CD56 positive, and the dim or high intensity of these markers separate the subgroups. Together, circulating NK cells act as rapid response sentinels, giving early defense against infections and tumors, constantly scanning for damaged or abnormal cells. And when their levels drop, studies link that loss to immune dysfunction and disease.
Anxiety is not just a mental storm in the brain. In young women, it also chips away at natural killer cells, the immune system's rapid response defenders. In this study, higher GAD7 anxiety scores were tied to lower percentages and counts of circulating NK cells, and their key subpopulations, CD16 plus CD56 dim and CD16 plus CD56 high, especially in students who also struggled with insomnia. As anxiety severity moves from normal to mild, moderate, and severe, the share of NK cells in the blood steadily drops, meaning fewer cells are available to attack virus-infected and abnormal cells early. Biologically, long-lasting anxiety activates the stress response and raises cortisol, a hormone that can suppress NK cell activity and promote pro-inflammatory cytokines. Taken together, this creates a quiet form of immune suppression where chronic anxiety and poor sleep team up to weaken frontline defenses and potentially open the door to infections, inflammation, and cancer risk over time.
Insomnia is not just about feeling tired. In young women, it can quietly drain some of the immune system's most powerful defenders, natural killer cells. In this study, students who reported insomnia showed a reduced total count of circulating NK cells, and this drop became more pronounced when insomnia occurred together with anxiety. One subset hit especially hard was the CD16 plus CD56 high NK cells, a smaller group that plays a key role in cytokine production and immune regulation. Among students with insomnia, higher GAD7 anxiety scores were strongly linked to lower proportions of these circulating NK cells, showing a clear negative correlation between stress levels and NK cell percentages. Losing these cells has serious consequences. Weakened NK defenses can mean a higher risk of infections, greater susceptibility to tumors and cancers, and a greater chance of chronic inflammatory diseases driven by ongoing immune imbalance. Understanding how insomnia and anxiety together reshape NK cell counts gives vital insight into the pathways connecting psychological stress, inflammation, and tumorigenesis, and it highlights why protecting healthy sleep is part of protecting immune health.
When anxiety and insomnia team up, they do not just steal sleep, they quietly strip away natural killer cells, weakening one of the body's fastest immune defenses. Recent research in young women shows that both conditions are strongly linked to lower numbers of circulating NK cells, the innate immune soldiers that normally attack infected and abnormal cells before they spread. As NK cell activity drops, the body becomes more vulnerable to infectious diseases because it cannot clear pathogens as quickly, leading to a higher incidence of illness. Compromised NK surveillance is also associated with cancer development, since fewer active NK cells means abnormal or tumor cells are more likely to survive and grow. Long-term immune weakening can fuel chronic and inflammatory conditions, including some mental health disorders that are tightly linked to ongoing inflammation. Over time, this combination of more infections, higher cancer risk, and chronic inflammation erodes overall health and quality of life, showing how psychological stressors can reshape the immune system in ways we can no longer afford to ignore. Every study has blind spots, and understanding them is key to trusting the science on anxiety, insomnia, and natural killer cells. Here, all 60 participants were young female students from a single Saudi university, which means the findings cannot automatically be applied to men, older adults, or people from other regions.
Future research needs to widen the lens with broader age, sex, and geographic representation so results reflect the larger population. Researchers also highlight the importance of adding inflammatory markers, such as C-reactive protein and cortisol, to map how psychological stress links to measurable immune and hormone changes. The next step is not just counting immune cells, but testing how well they work, using in vitro functional assays of NK cells and other leukocytes. Together, these improvements will sharpen our picture of how anxiety and insomnia reshape immunity and will guide more targeted, evidence-based strategies to protect mental and physical health.
This study ends with a clear message. Everyday stressors like anxiety and insomnia can quietly weaken immune defenses by cutting down natural killer cells. In a group of young women, 75% reported anxiety symptoms and about 53% reported insomnia, and both conditions were strongly linked to lower counts of circulating NK cells that normally patrol for infections in early cancer cells. When NK cell levels fall, the body becomes easier prey for infections, chronic inflammation, and processes that support tumor formation and worse disease outcomes over time. That is why the authors call for greater awareness of the physiological impact of mental health and for prevention strategies that include regular physical activity, effective stress management, and a balanced diet to help preserve immune strength. By treating anxiety and insomnia not only as mental health issues, but also as risk factors for immune decline, this research turns everyday self-care into a concrete tool for protecting long-term health.
Subscribe to BioTuberOnline and unlock unlimited potential to improve every aspect of your health. Find real solutions for weight loss, blood sugar management, heart health, and mental resilience. Plus, science-driven answers for balancing hormones, boosting immunity, supporting healthy aging, optimizing digestion, managing pain, and preventing chronic disease. Learn to recharge your energy, enhance sleep, sharpen memory, and build strength through trusted fitness routines and nutrition plans grounded in the latest medical research. Explore topics like gut health, stress reduction, inflammation control, women's wellness, men's health, skincare, mindful living, reproductive health, bone and joint care, and integrative therapies. No matter your age or goal, this channel simplifies cutting-edge studies and expert insights, offering practical tips for total wellness, physical, emotional, and social. Join the BioTuberOnline community for step-by-step guidance, actionable strategies, and daily motivation you can rely on. Subscribe now for evidence-based content and never miss an opportunity to thrive in every area of your life.